Welcome all. In today's class we will see the last topic in module 1, that is Hall effect. So in the year 1879 Edwin Hall invented Hall effect. So let's see what is the statement for the Hall effect. When a current carrying conductor is placed in a transverse magnetic field B, an electric field E is induced in the direction perpendicular to both I and B. So it states that when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, perpendicular magnetic field B, if an electric field E is induced in a direction perpendicular to both the direction of current flow I and the applied magnetic field. So, when a semiconductor or any current carrying material is placed in a magnetic field B, an electric field will be generated and the direction of the electric field will be just perpendicular to both the direction of current and the magnetic field. So we will consider a p-type semiconductor. So we know in a p-type semiconductor the majority carriers are holes. So you can see the current carrying conductor is placed in the x direction. So you can see the notation Ix here. So that is the same way where holes are moving. Holes are moving from C to D. So the other two faces are marked as A and B. Length of the conductor is L and thickness is T and width is W. So when the semiconductor is placed in a transverse magnetic field, means a perpendicular magnetic field B is the transverse magnetic field, the Hall effect says that an equivalent electric field will be generated and it will be perpendicular to both this x and z direction. So in this perpendicular way, in the y direction an electric field is generated. So you can see the definition here. If a magnetic field is applied perpendicular to the direction in which holes drift in a p-type bar, the path of the holes tend to get deflected. So in the video which I sent yesterday, you might have seen the holes are getting deflected to the other end of the solid. So if I am drawing this, okay. Now currently holes are moving like this. Holes were moving like this. So when it is placed in a transverse magnetic field, when a magnetic field is applied here, the previous direction of holes are like this, then these holes will get deflected to other end of the one end of the semiconductor bar. So what will happen when a positive charge are accumulating to this end, an equal amount of negative charge should accumulate in the other side of the bar. So in A side holes will get accumulated, so in B side we will have a negative charge. So you can see here marked as A is positive and B is negative. That means there is a potential difference between A and B. So an electric field that induces an electric field in the minus y direction, direction. Okay, so this potential difference, this formation of electric field across A and B is known as Hall effect, and the difference of voltage produced is known as Hall voltage. Now we will see according to the notes. So we know when this particular semiconductor is placed in a magnetic field, the force on this holes will be Q times V cross B. The force exerted on the charge carriers in a semiconductor when it is placed on a magnetic field is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. So what will be the direction of this force? So the holes are moving in the x direction and the magnetic field is in the z direction. So what will be the cross product of x and z? That is nothing but minus y direction. So force of exertion will be in the minus y direction. Because of that, the holes are getting accumulated in this plate, means minus y direction, this plate. So we will see here. So in thumb rule you can see the one end, that is the flow of current is given in the x direction, magnetic field is given in the z direction. So the middle finger's direction will be the direction of force, or cross product of Vx cross Bz, x in the one direction and z in the other direction. So the answer will be minus y. That is shown by the middle finger. In this the right hand thumb rule, you can see that. So the force will be exerted in the minus y direction. So according to Lorentz force equation, when a semiconductor material is placed in the magnetic field, an electric field will be generated, right? So an equivalent force will be exerted. That force exerted by the magnetic field is given by F is equal to Q into Ey. So these holes will get depleted to the one end of the semiconductor. So a positive charge is formed in the A side and a negative charge is formed in the B side. So an electric field is generated. That electric field is given by this Ey. So this force due to the electric field will balance with the force for the magnetic field. So F is equal to Q into Ey minus Vx Bz will be the total force, and Q Ey should balance with Vx Bz. Then only both the forces will get cancelled. So see here. So using vector notation, the total force on a single hole due to the electric and magnetic field is F is equal to Q into E plus V cross B. So Q into E is due to the electric field and Q into V cross B is due to the magnetic field, where Q is the electron charge, E is the electric field, V is the drift velocity and B is the magnetic field. So the force we have seen, it is in the y direction. So we can see it as Fy is equal to in the y direction, if you are writing, it will be minus of Vx Bz, right? So the important result of equation 2 is that unless an electric field Ey is established along the width of the bar, each hole will experience a net force in the minus y direction due to Q Vx Bz product. Therefore, to maintain a steady state flow of holes down the length of the bar, the electric field Ey must just balance the product Vx Bz. So I told you the force due to the magnetic field will be in the minus y direction. So in order to have a constant flow of holes, steady state flow of holes, the electric field force due to electric field Ey should balance with that of the magnetic field. So the net force should be 0. Then the electron will come back to its original place and flow through the semiconductor bar. So you can see here Fy is equal to Q into Ey minus Vx Bz. So V cross B will be Vb sin theta. So perpendicular means sin theta will be 1. So we will get Vx Bz. So since it is in minus y direction, we have written here minus Vx Bz. So this Ey should balance with the other one. So we can write Q into Vxb minus Vx Bz. So both will get cancelled. So net force will be 0. So hole will come back to its original place. So the establishment of this electric field Ey is known as Hall effect, and resulting voltage across the plate AB is given by Ey into width of the plate W is called Hall voltage. So this is our semiconductor. So this is the plate B and this is the plate A. So across this the voltage positive and negative is generated, that is given by VAB, that is equal to electric field Ey into width of the bar, that is W. Voltage, Hall voltage VAB is equal to Ey into W. W is this width. Okay. So now we will see certain equations related to Hall effect. So we know that drift velocity for holes, we have seen the drift velocity for holes as drift velocity for hole is given by Vx is equal to drift velocity Vx is given by Jx into QPO. This equation we have seen in the conductivity section, where conductivity we have studied current density Jx is equal to NQVx. We got one equation like this. Here we are speaking about holes as a majority carrier, so it is replaced by PQVx. In the case of electron it was minus q, here it is hole, so it is plus q. So PQVx, so from this drift velocity of the hole Vx is equal to current density Jx by QPO. So here in this equation Vx is equal to Jx by QPO. Now what is the electric field Ey? Electric field Ey is equal to Vx into Bz. That also we have seen. In order to have a total net force F is equal to 0, in order to have a net force F is equal to 0, what we have to do? Ey should be equal to Vx into Bz. So this we are substituting. Here Vx value we will be substituting. So you can see here Ey is equal to Vx into Bz, and Vx is equal to Jx by QPO. So Jx by QPO into Bz. Here we are introducing a constant known as RH. So we are writing 1 by QPO as RH. So RH into Jx into Bz, where RH is known as Hall coefficient. That's value is 1 by QPO. So Jx is the current density, Bz is the magnetic field in Z direction, and Ey is the electric field in the Y direction. So Ey is the Hall electric field and RH is the Hall coefficient. So we got the equation as electric field Ey is equal to Hall coefficient RH into current density Jx into Bz. So electric field is directly proportional to current density in the x direction and magnetic field in the z direction, and the Hall coefficient RH is given. Now equation 3 can be expressed in terms of Hall concentration, that is PO. So we can write PO is equal to Jx. So you can see here PO is equal to, what is PO? PO is the Hall concentration. PO is equal to, rearranging the equation, we can write Jx divided by Vx into Q. From the third equation we can write PO is equal to Vx into Q, Jx divided by Vx into Q. So what is Jx? This is got from this equation. So what is Jx? Jx is current density. What is current density? Current flowing divided by area. So Ix divided by W, width into thickness T. Okay, that is current density Jx. And what is Vx? Vx is nothing but Ey by Bz. Ey by Bz. So Vx is equal to Ey by Bz. So 1 by Vx is equal to Bz by Ey and Q as it is. So that is given here in the side. So we are getting the equation like this. So rearranging, we will get it as, see here, PO is equal to Ix by Wt Bz divided by Q into Ey. So now we are substituting the value of Ey. What is Ey? Ey is equal to, Ey is nothing but electric field in terms of Hall voltage. How we will write? Hall voltage VAB is equal to Ey into W. So Ey is equal to VAB divided by W. That we are substituting here. So we will get it as PO is equal to Ix by Wt into Bz by Q into Ey. The Ey is VAB by W. So W will get cancelled. Now we will get the Hall concentration as, PO is equal to Ix Bz by Qt VAB. So you can see Hall concentration, everything is constant. If you know the magnetic field and current flowing, the Hall concentration can be found out easily. That is PO is equal to Ix, current carrying, into magnetic field Bz divided by Q, charge of the electron, T, thickness of the material, and VAB is the Hall voltage. Same way, one more application for Hall effect is mobility of holes. mobility of holes can also be expressed in terms of Hall coefficient. So one more thing is mobility of hole, that is mu p. How we will find mu p? We know mu p is equal to sigma by q p, 0. 0 stands for equilibrium value. Okay, so we have seen sigma is equal to qn mu n or qp mu p. So mu p is equal to, mu p means mobility of the holes is equal to conductivity sigma divided by qpo. So what is conductivity? Conductivity is nothing but 1 by resistivity, 1 by rho. So sigma is equal to 1 by rho divided by q. What is po? Po is nothing but 1 by qrh. In the terms of Hall coefficient, we can write po as 1 by qrh. So q and q will get cancelled. What remains is rh by rho. So mobility of holes is nothing but Hall coefficient divided by resistivity. Both are a constant value, so we can easily find out the mobility of hole. So what is rho? Rho is nothing but resistivity in ohm centimeter. That is nothing but R, resistance into area Wt divided by length of the semiconductor. So this also can be easily found out. Resistivity is equal to resistance into area divided by length. So for this particular semiconductor bar which we are considering, this is the flow of current and these two areas are given by VCD. So resistance R is equal to voltage across CD, VCD divided by current, Ohm's law. Resistance is equal to voltage by current. So R is equal to VCD by Ix into W is the thickness, W is the width and T is the thickness. So and L is the length. So rho is equal to RWT by L or VCD by Ix into WT divided by L. So these are some of the applications of Hall effect. We can find out the concentration of holes or concentration of electrons can be found out if it is an n-type material, and we can see the mobility of holes and similar way electrons. So we can measure the magnetic field. This Hall effect is used in sensors, like that many applications are there for Hall effect. So this one is speaking about p-type material, right? So if you are using a n-type material, what will be the case? In the case of n-type material, the Q will be replaced with minus Q and the Hall voltage and Hall coefficient will be negative. Here for p-type it is positive, for n-type it will be negative. That is the only thing. So the same methodology can be used for identifying a material whether it is n-type or p-type. If the Hall voltage is positive, then it is a p-type material. If the Hall voltage is negative, then it is a n-type material. So the similar way we can explain for n-type also. So application like measuring carrier concentration, we have seen we can measure carrier concentration. So Hall effect, which is discovered by Edwin Hall in the year 1879. The Hall effect is production of a voltage difference called the Hall voltage across a current carrying conductor in the presence of a magnetic field. The generated voltage is perpendicular to both the current and magnetic field. So Lorentz force equation is given by F is equal to Q into E plus V cross B, where V is the velocity. Either it can be of Hall or electron. So you can see in the first figure, this is given by a semiconductor material without magnetic field. So you can see electrons are, in this case we are showing electrons. So electrons are flowing from this right side to left side. So the current movement will be opposite to the flow of electron. So it's shown by the direction of I, and thickness T, width, everything is shown. So when it is placed in a magnetic field in the Z direction, this is our X direction, and a magnetic field is applied in the Z direction, these electrons will get depleted to one side of the semiconductor plate. So thereby forming a negative charge in the down region and a positive charge in the up region. This will cause the development of an electric field EY, in the y direction, and Ey will be given. That direction of the force is shown here, QE. So the force due to magnetic field QBV should match with the force due to electric field QE. Then both will get cancelled and the electrons will move in the actual direction. A Hall voltage will be produced due to the potential difference, a negative voltage here and a positive voltage in the other side. So assume current is in the x-axis. Assume current is in the x-axis. The electric field is produced along the y-axis. To maintain a steady state flow, Ey is equal to V cross Vx Bz. The electric field is created when the magnetic field shifts the electron or hole. In the figure, we have considered the direction of current I. This is same as the Hall drift direction. So we can analyze the p-type. The establishment of electric field is called Hall effect, and the potential difference is called Hall voltage. The voltage is given by V is equal to E into width. Now for holes, the current density is given by Jx is equal to Q into Po into Vx, where Vx is equal to Jx by QPO. So the electric field Ey, same thing we explained, Ey is equal to Jx by QPO into Bz. So 1 by QPO is given by the Hall coefficient RH. So Ey is equal to RH into Jx into Bz. So this coefficient is known as Hall coefficient. We see Hall field is produced proportional to the product of current density Jx and magnetic flux density Bz. So this proportionality constant is given by Hall coefficient RH. So the above relationship give a method to determine Hall concentration from the measurement of Hall voltage VAB in the presence of non-magnetic field. So same way, PO is given by PO means concentration of Hall is given by Ix into Bz by Qt VAB, where VAB is the Hall voltage. All the quantities on the right hand side are measurable. Hence, Hall effect can be used to determine the carrier concentration accurately. This is the first application. So second one is mobility can also be found out. Mobility is nothing but ratio of Hall coefficient to resistivity. So mobility of electron or hole also can be found out. For an n-type semiconductor, the negative value of Q is used for electrons, and Hall voltage VAB and Hall coefficient RH are negative. In fact, the measurement of the sign of the Hall voltage is a common technique for determining if an unknown sample is p-type or n-type. So we came across three application of Hall effect here. First one, it can be used to determine the carrier concentration. It can be used to determine the mobility and to identify whether the unknown sample is p-type or n-type. Okay, this much about Hall effect. So go through the videos which I have sent yesterday. In that animated view, you will understand little more, and go through the derivation also. Write and study. Thank you.